Welcome to the Cassius Morris Show. We're here on location at the Rexall Place in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada with
David Sanchez, and I'm the lead throat and riff dealer in Havok.
We got nothing next one at the front of the line. As these voices telling me I have to stay alive. I cannot remember what day I did kill.
You guys just started the tour with Megadeth, Dystopia World Tour. I guess we'll just start with the obvious question. What's it like to be touring with Megadeth, one of the most legendary bands of all time?
Yeah, it's a dream come true.
Of course.
I've been thinking about making this work since I was a kid, and to see it come to fruition now is really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I've started this band 12 years ago, and it's, paying dividends now.
Did you ever imagine something like this would happen when you started?
Definitely.
You did? You
this
saw
is
it
the
there.
kind of stuff I had in mind when I started the band, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people would be like, oh, I never expected it, but you guys did. At least you're honest about it, right?
This is what I've been working for, and it's finally here.
What was the call like when you got it?
Pretty pant shitting.
Yeah?
I mean, it's still surreal to me.
Yeah.
Like, we're here, but it still kind of boggles my mind that we're actually doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, I had the vision when I was 15 years old and thought I would get here, but now that I'm here, it's almost like it's surreal. It's almost like a dream.
Right, absolutely. So let's go back to when you were 15 years old. What were some of the standout metal records in your life at that time?
Old Metallica, old Megadeth, old Slayer. I don't know. It's more bands in general than records.
Okay.
Because I would pick up, I would watch live stuff. I would get DVDs. I would pick up greatest hits, and I would pick up other albums. But the big bands when I was young were, like the Big Four, Testament, Exodus, Overkill, Death, AC/DC.
Of course, yeah.
The classics. And my taste has grown much more eclectic with time, but that's the kind of stuff that started me off back in the day.
Well, that's awesome. Now, you mentioned AC/DC. We just got the news, of course, about Brian Johnson. Do you think he's replaceable?
I don't know how you could do that.
Yeah.
I have no idea who they would get to sing for them if not Brian Johnson.
Yeah.
Maybe Jim Brewer.
Yeah, see, I was thinking that too. Jim Brewer would be the best.
Row, 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 you boat gently down the stream.
He's a cool guy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love comedy.
Yeah, definitely. Well, hey, if you're ever in town, we can get you some free tickets.
Yeah, dude. Who's in town tonight?
Big J. Okerson.
Okay, he's pretty good.
Yeah, big rock
I'm
fan.
a big fan of Joe Rogan and Bill Burr.
Same here.
And
Yeah.
Jimmy Carr.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
Dimitri Martin.
Yeah, we get.
Of
to
course,
work with-
George Carlin and, Dangerfield and stuff like that, but those guys aren't here anymore, unfortunately.
Mhm.
But as far as living guys, I think Bill Burr and Joe Rogan are my favorites.
Now, there was a case here in Canada where somebody was being going to court over a joke they said that was offensive. I don't know if you heard about this, but the reason I bring it up is because I was going to ask: do you think it's ever too far in comedy when you're telling
Fuck
a joke?
no, it's
Yeah.
a joke.
Exactly right.
The guy is on stage making jokes. If you don't get that it's jokes, you should
Yeah.
fucking kill yourself.
Thank you. You heard it here first, folks.
Really, I mean, you're at a comedy show.
Yeah.
People are gonna say things that they don't really mean.
Yeah.
And Jesus Christ, people,
Yeah.
grow a pair, grow up.
Exactly right.
Also, I forgot to mention, I love Louis C.K. too.
Louis C.K. is amazing.
How could you not? And
Yeah.
Jim Jeffries,
Jim Jeffries, of course. So, how old were you when you started Havok?
15.
You were 15, really?
Yep.
Okay, so first rehearsal. Is the magic there already?
First time I ever jammed with a drummer that became that I started the band with.
Mhm.
He was in high school, and we jammed a bunch of Metallica songs because he knew a bunch
Nice.
and I knew a bunch. So that's kind of how the band started, was almost just like a Metallica tribute band.
Yeah.
And then we started playing out and playing songs. Our first show at a bar, we were the hired band to do all Metallica songs. There was
Okay.
another band, I think they were doing AC/DC that night.
Mhm.
We were doing all Metallica. And we started writing original songs, and that's when I discovered that, I really actually love songwriting, and
Yeah.
I'm halfway decent at it, so let's start a real band.
And you always wanted to sing? You never considered any other instruments or anything?
No, I considered getting a vocalist, but two things prevented me from doing that. One, that's another guy you've got to have in the van and feed and pay and do all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And also, I couldn't find anybody who sounded the way that I would want a singer in my band to sound like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I decided I'll try singing and playing, and I developed my chops early on, playing lots of Metallica songs and being able to develop the split brain of singing and playing at the same time.
Right.
So I was able to do it, and said, what the hell?
That's super cool. Yeah, I mean, it's really an acquired skill to be able to sing and play at the same time. I mean,
it takes some practice, yeah.
Yeah, and you look at this tour, we have some of the best people to ever do it on this tour, so it's very appropriate.
Absolutely.
Now, about the vocal style, I was wondering, because, I mean, it seems like you could really hurt yourself if you don't know how to do it properly and you kind of have it or you don't. So, like, how did you first start experimenting with it? Like, was it always so, like, kind of intense, I guess?
No, it wasn't always so intense, and people ask me all the time how I get the tone of voice that I do.
Yeah.
And I always tell them you have to be loud. Like, I am not quiet at all when I'm yelling into the mic. The range that I'm normally in for a lot of our songs is like an octave higher than most singers are.
Okay.
Most singers are, singing right down in here, and I'm like really belting it out
skyrocketing,
and yelling. Yeah, so it takes a lot of energy, and you cannot be quiet if you want to do vocals like that.
Now, I was hearing that you were having a little bit of difficulties with some of the notes and stuff like that. Is that cleared up at all?
My throat's still a little bit froggy right now. I don't know. I caught a bug like at the beginning of the tour, and it hasn't really fully gone away. Yeah. So my voice is a little weird right now, but I can still shriek out some decent tunes.
No, of course. Yeah, it's funny. We were talking like it seems like every band that comes here, they seem to get sick. Like Ozzy was just here recently. They canceled the show because he was sick with the same kind of issues.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, it's almost contagious. We ended up going to the show, but yeah, it was cool. Do you remember your first concert you watched?
The very first rock concert I ever saw was the Eagles.
Oh, man.
And then the very first metal concert I ever saw was the Scorpions.
Nice.
With Whitesnake and Dawkins.
Oh, man. What a lineup. Did you fall in love right away with shows?
Yeah, I've loved music since I was a kid, but I didn't really, have a giant, huge appreciation for it and really, just have my mind blown by music until I discovered heavy metal and rock and roll.
Okay.
That's when the floodgates just were destroyed.
Right.
And there's no turning back from that point.
You opened the door.
Yeah, I opened the metal door and I fell through and I can't go back.
Yeah, why would you want to, right?
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine my life without music. Not at all.
Yeah, I hear that a lot and I can relate to that completely. You mentioned the Big Four earlier. Who's the best of the Big Four for you?
Oh, shit, dude. I don't know.
It's a hard one.
I can't pick one.
You can't pick one?
No, I can't. But I will tell you this. Mustaine is a big reason that this band exists today. When I've gone through lineup changes, and many of them, and have considered stopping the band multiple times. And there was a point where Dave Ellefson wasn't in Megadeth, and Dave Mustaine kept the band going. And while he was doing that shit, that was a giant inspiration to me to keep my band going and not give it up. Yeah. So I really look up to Dave, and he's definitely a big reason why this band is still doing anything.
Yeah.
Watching him continue with his band, even with no original members, was definitely inspirational to me as a youth and kept me going.
Of course, that's crazy. What was it like the first time you met him?
First time I ever met him, it was just in an autograph line. So
okay, it wasn't like a business thing.
I didn't get to talk to him much or anything like that.
Right.
But he signed my arm, and then I got it tattooed on me. A friend of mine convinced me to tattoo it on me.
You have it on your arm still?
Yeah.
That's sick. Can we show the camera?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's insane.
It's P-cells.
Right. That's crazy. We gotta get a.
And when I ran into Mustaine years later, he was like, "Hey, I didn't put the E at the end of my name. Do you want me to touch that up?" I was like, "No, dude, you fucked it up. I'm keeping it that way."
Seriously, I want the Dave Mustaine fuck up on
Yeah.
my arm forever.
Paranoid to enemy of fostering. Anxiety's attacking me. My hair is getting thin.
Is it possible for a new metal band that's just starting, let's say in 2016, to become at the caliber of Metallica and Megadeth?
Well, new metal sucks.
Well, I mean like a newer metal
I know
band.
what you mean.
Yeah, okay.
I just want to say,
It's possible for
the
Korn.
record,
Yeah.
new metal sucks. And as far as modern bands being able to get to the level of Metallica,
Mm-hmm.
it's really hard to say because Metallica came up in a time when people actually bought albums,
Right.
and there wasn't a million other bands out there scratching to get up there. Also, they were on a major label. You know, people bought records. They
Yeah.
had music videos. They helped start a new genre of music.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's impossible that another band will ever be Metallica big, but I'm not sure that another band will ever be as big as Metallica in the same ways and have the same legacy,
yeah.
and you know, because they literally helped forge an entire genre
Of course.
and, like, you know, put a ship out to sea. They helped push the thing
Yeah.
off the dock, you know.
Definitely.
So, I don't know. Bands could definitely be big. I mean, selling out arenas and doing giant stuff. But that's like asking if there's ever going to be another rock band as big as the Rolling Stones
Yeah.
or the AC/DC or the Beatles. Like,
It's next to impossible.
it's possible, but I don't know
Yeah.
how likely it is.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Do you think the fans killed the music industry?
Fans didn't kill it. Fans are the only thing keeping it alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the internet and the lackadaisical nature of people caring about illegal downloads of music has definitely thrown a wrench in the spokes
Right.
for bands and labels and the whole industry.
Yeah.
I think touring industry is still thriving and always will because people are never going to stop going to live shows because there's nothing else that makes your skeleton shake.
Of course.
You literally feel the music.
Yeah.
But if you know how when you watch a movie and at the beginning there's all the warnings, like if you record this and distribute it or sell it, we're going to, you know, possibly throw you in jail for 25 years
yeah.
and fine you $500,000.
That just scared me when I was a little kid.
Right, yeah, and it scares a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that's at the beginning of every movie you see. And for some reason, movies are like sacred, and you can't steal that art because so many people worked on that.
Yeah.
Well, what about a record? Some guys just a small group of people. And I'm not talking about pop stars. I mean real bands that write their own stuff, record their own stuff.
Yeah.
Are the artist. Those kinds of artists, you know, there's a lot of creativity that and work and money and effort that goes into that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And some of this art that's presented as genius, and people don't feel anything for stealing it on the internet, but they wouldn't do the same with the new whatever Matthew
Avengers or
McConaughey
whatever?
Matthew
Yeah.
McConaughey movie or whatever.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy to me that people feel the entitlement to music, but movies, well, obviously we have to pay for that.
Right.
You got to pay $15 a ticket to go see it in the theater.
Yeah.
It's wild. I don't understand that at all.
So you're saying people should steal more movies? I'm just kidding.
Well, that would even the playing field out a
Yeah,
little bit.
exactly, right.
But really, people should just be paying for art that they like.
I definitely agree.
Even something like Spotify. I mean, you pay $10 a month and you can listen to almost everything.
Yeah.
I mean, the artists and labels still get dicked really hard because
Yeah.
they get such a horrible cut from plays.
Right.
But at least it's legal.
Yeah, exactly. You're following some kind of system.
It's like the Netflix of music, Spotify.
You're on tour right now with Megadeth. I mean, this is huge. What's next for Havok? What do you see coming up?
We're going to record in April.
Okay.
Oh, there they go, walking right by. We're going to record it in
Really?
April, and then we're going to Europe in June.
Okay.
And we're playing like Download Festival and Hellfest and
Nice.
a bunch of other cool festivals over there.
That's awesome.
And we also have a week in Germany and Luxembourg where we're direct support for Megadeth
Sick.
this summer. So we're doing that in the summertime, and then I don't know what's after that as far as tour goes, but the record should come out in the fall, and
Awesome.
we'll probably tour our rectums off like normal.
Yeah. Well, that's sick. Hey, man, thank you again. Really appreciate it.
Hell yeah, dude. Thanks for doing
Rock
it.
Coming
on.
for you!